Welcome to This Week with Ijazul Haq. This is the midweek report on Wednesday, May 27, 2020. Thank you very much for tuning into my YouTube channel. In this video today, we are going to focus mostly on the ill-fated PIA flight 8303 from Lahore to Karachi, which crashed last Friday, an Airbus A320. With me, I have today Captain Aqil Akhtar, an experienced pilot of 40 years. He served PIA as a senior pilot for many number of years and just retired about a year ago. Aqil, thank you very much for being here and for making the time.
Thank you, Ijaz, for having me.
So, Aqil, from the information available so far, there's much speculation, but what is your opinion as to what happened to the aircraft?
Well, as you said, till the final data comes in from the flight data recorder, cockpit voice recorder, you can't conclusively say. So the limited information that we have is the communication, a few pictures, and of course, they say. So there have been a lot of people trying to figure out what happened, some very experienced people. And to me, the most plausible thing that I can figure out, is that they started off with a problem of being high, which is very common for some reason.
This is just before landing?
Yes, when you start your descent,
yeah.
when you're coming in for landing, generally, you have a profile, a descent profile, and basically you can multiply your distance by 3, like if you're at 5 nautical miles, 315, you should be 14, 15, 1600 feet. But if you're 3,500 feet, then you're actually overshooting, you're coming very high. And if you try to get down, then obviously your speed is going to shoot up, and you have an unstabilized approach, which we are all trained to discontinue if you're not stabilized by 1,000 feet. So there appears to be this thing. Now, to verify this, we'll have to know the exact speed, the exact rate of descent once we get the data. But it appears that even the controller was suggesting that, look, you're high, why don't you go around and come back, adjust your altitude and land. Well, he said he's comfortable and he can continue.
This is the pilot?
The pilot.
Sajjad Gul, who was your student?
That's correct. Many years back, I trained him when he was a co-pilot on the Boeing 737s. I used to be an instructor that time. And then he flew with me on the Boeing 777s as a co-pilot. A very fine gentleman, hardworking, and a nice human being.
So you think he made an attempt to land the first time?
So this is where there is a controversy. Some people are saying that the gears never came out, and he continued still, and with all that warning, because when he gives him, the tower gives him a landing clearance, there's that continuous repetitive chime,
yes,
which is
which can be heard on the video in the conversation.
Exactly. So a lot of people are drawing conclusions from that, but that can come for a number of reasons. And it can come, just for a short while and then go.
So as a layman, for my information.
Yeah.
So if he did come into land, obviously the plane would have then landed on the engines and scraped the runway as it is claimed.
Yes.
Then is it possible to take off again after
doing
that?
You're suggesting that he knew that he's coming in to land without the wheels and he's making a belly landing. A belly landing is a planned emergency.
Exactly.
When you know if that warning was throughout, he would have never attempted to land. He would have gone around. You can manually, through gravity, take out the wheels, you carry out your checklist, they put foam on the runway, they get the emergency fire tenders, the ambulance. It's a planned emergency. In this case, what has to be established, and I think if they have a video of the actual plane landing, it would
help.
It would help. I mean, it would, if that was a temporary warning. Let me just
sorry. Go ahead.
So that that was a temporary warning that came. It went. The gears were down and locked. Captain said, "I'll land," but because he was coming, on a very steep angle and his speed was excessive, and then you have a tendency to float on the runway. You can't just block the plane on the runway. So you have to make a smooth touchdown or a reasonable touchdown. So he consumed much of the runway. And he assessed that perhaps he can't stop with the runway available, and he decided he'll open up power and go around again. And again, this is
that action would have damaged the engines.
No. And if it was done properly, this is a normal thing. We practice that in the simulator all the time. He could have gone. But what may have happened is that because once you touch the ground, the engines come to a ground idle. Ground idle is a much lower RPM than flight idle, which is high. So perhaps the engines took a little more time, when he initiated the go-round, to spool up and give full power to the aircraft. In the meanwhile, inadvertently, the landing gear was lifted. For what reason? Now, this is all will have to be verified with the flight data recorder. When was the landing gear moved to the up position? If that was done prematurely, the aircraft would have sunk down and scraped. Engines would have scraped, because the engines are the lowest point of the aircraft when the wheels are up. And once they were scraped, obviously the engines are damaged. Then
so should the traffic control, control tower have warned the pilot that your landing gear is not out, or is that not his responsibility?
So the tower had already done his job. When he saw that this guy is, insisting on landing, then it's his assessment. Of course, he was in line with the runway,
Right.
so he said, "You're clear to land if you think." But then later on, it was the pilot's decision to go around, because he thought his speed and stopping distance was unsafe.
Assuming that is the case, that
Yeah.
the engines scraped the runway
Yeah.
and were damaged in this process,
Yes.
he took off again.
Yes.
And that could be the reason why he couldn't gain height as the
Yes,
tower
yes,
was
yes.
telling him.
So, all these engines, they have their accessory gearbox on the bottom part of the engine, which gives you your electrical power, your hydraulic power, and all that stuff. Now, that's a crucial area, and the way the eyewitnesses say it hit one, it hit the other, it hit
Could
the
have
other.
been damaged. Yes.
And there was some debris left on the runway. So once that was damaged, then the actual picture which some enthusiast took, which seems to be quite genuine, is that they've got that ram air turbine, what
Right.
we call the rat, sticking out, and that means that the power systems had failed. The automation, the computers had sensed that there's no power, there's no electric power.
But the turbine would then have provided power?
Turbine provides you very basic electric power for your controls, for your hydraulic systems, to move. But if the engine power is slowly going, the guy couldn't make it to 3,000 feet that he was cleared. He barely struggled to make it to 2,000. And then he announced that I've lost engines,
So even at 1800,
Yeah.
let's say if the engines had not failed,
Yes.
he still could have made it by completing. He was almost in line with the runway again. Had he continued to decline and land on
Well,
the runway.
once you have a power loss
Yeah.
and you're close to the ground, below 1800 feet, also if there's a strong wind,
So the plane comes down fast.
it comes down, and there's no this thing. And the last final picture is of a nose-up attitude. Aircraft is in a stall, and of course it has to go down. That's when he gave the mayday call, when
Right.
that.
Well, very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
Out of 97 people died. And there's also a question of why there are buildings in line with the runway. And how did Sindh Building Control Authority allow that construction? Normally that area is left open for the aircraft coming in.
That's true.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Couple more points on the travel industry. The German government is providing $9.8 billion to save Lufthansa from bankruptcy. In the process, they will take 20% equity in the company and also have a veto power in case of a hostile takeover. Virgin Australia already declared bankruptcy, and yesterday the largest airline in the Americas, i.e. North and South America, LATAM, which is a Santiago, Chile-based airline, declared bankruptcy. And the very famous car rental company Hertz declared bankruptcy in Canada and the United States a few days ago, but not in Europe though. And finally, Corona update, 58,500 cases in Pakistan, 19,000 have healed, and total deaths so far, 1,211. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you,
sir.
Akil. And please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. And thank you very much. There will be a more detailed report on Corona next Saturday. Thank you and bye.
Bye-bye.